Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm back with another T Speaks encouragement. And this morning's encouragement is going to be talking about perseverance, endurance, pushing, pressing, getting back up after you fall. And we're going to be coming out of Proverbs 24, verse number 16. And I personally was directed to the TPT version. You can read it in whatever version you choose to read it in. I strongly encourage you to go back and read it though, but because I'm not going to give you the whole all the things, like the whole scripture itself. I'm just going to kind of pick and pull from it and give you the context around it. So Proverbs 24 and 16 in the TPT version basically says that lovers of God will stumble, will fall, but we continue to get back up over and over again. And in there, it specifically says, we'll get back up over and over again. But the unrighteous will fall and they won't be able to get back up. It's basically the gist of the scripture. So last night I was taking my test and I felt like this was important to speak on. I felt like this was important to voice and in an encouragement, in a way of encouragement, my words. I felt like it was necessary to encourage you with this topic because, number one, with kids going back to school, number two, with us as adults going back to school, and number three, we all need to understand that we're not always going to have everything right all the time. And that's okay. As long as we keep our eyes focused on what we're supposed to be keeping our eyes focused on. Keep our eyes focused towards where we're supposed to keep them focused towards. God will make sure that we get back up over and over again. Is my takeaway from the scripture. We are going to fall. Nobody's perfect. So we're going to fall. We're going to fail. But in the moment, I wasn't thinking that way. So I took my test last night. The first test passed, got 100 on that test. The second test was a written out test. So I don't have my score on that one yet. But I feel like I did really, really well on that. And then the third one it was more of an assignment, not necessarily a quiz, but it was matching. And some of the wording was it wasn't wording of how I took my notes. Let me put it that way. So how I took my notes was straight from studying, straight from the book, straight from the class. But some of the things on the test was not that way. So some of the wording was a little bit mixed up and it was worded kind of weirdly and it looked a little different to me. So long story short, I failed the test. It was 22 questions altogether. I got 15 right. And that was a failing score. So in all of that, I was upset. I mean, so upset to the point where I was in tears because I looked back at my final score for the class. Mind you, I'm only in the second week of classes, but I looked at my overall average score for the class itself, and it was taken down to a 76, and I was not very happy about that. And I'm saying all of this to say that with us going back to school, not only us going back to school as parents, but with children going back to school as well, we should be teaching them that, yes, getting your grades up is a great thing, but don't beat yourself up over a score that you might have failed on, over a score that you might have missed, over a score that you didn't do so well on this one time around. Like in the scripture, it says, the lovers of God will fall or may fall, whichever version you choose to read it in. The righteous of God will fall or may fall 7 times, but they will get back up over and over and over again. So even though you fail, even though you fall, whichever way you choose to look at it, even though you fail or you fall those 7 times, you have that option. You have that push. You have that strive. You have that perseverance to continue getting back up over and over and over again. You may beat yourself up in the moment, but don't stay in that moment. You may be hurt in that moment, but don't stay in that moment. And it's no different than on our walk with God. You may fall. You may do something wrong. You may stumble. You may not have it all right. You may not have it all together. Again, none of us are perfect. In those moments where you fall, in those moments where you feel like you have failed God or even failed yourself, in those moments, what matters most is that you get back up and you seek Him for the proper direction of where to turn to. You seek Him for the direction of how to go. You seek Him in that fall. Don't fall and stay there. You're going to be hurt. Yes, of course. We know when a child falls, they scrape their knee. When a child falls, they twist a bone or they twist something. But when they fall, they're hurt in the moment. But we see them get back up. Think of a baby and how they're trying to walk. When they're trying to walk, they fall multiple times, but they get right back up. They might cry and whine for a few minutes, but they get right back up. They have that push. They have that perseverance. They have that energy to continue getting back up over and over and over again. So basically what I want you guys to understand is that you're going to fall. You're going to fall. You're not going to have it all together. You're not going to have it all right. And I needed to understand that myself last night. I'm only in my second week, and I didn't understand this at first. I had a couple of people talk to me. I had a couple of people encourage me. I didn't reach out to everybody, but I had a couple of people encourage me. I had a couple of people talk to me, and I had definitely had encouragement in the home. And that's what matters, is your circle. Your circle matters because who you reach out to, who you talk to, who you have. My mom, she reached out to me. She had reached out to me to ask me about classes. So when I let her know that I failed the test, she said, well, don't beat yourself up. I was already beating myself up because I was already upset. Hubby came to me. I was in the kitchen and he came to me and said, don't beat yourself up. You're only in the second week of your classes. Don't beat yourself up because you have plenty of time. And we know, his words were, we know who you are and we know what you stand for. So we know that you're going to push through and persevere, and you're going to build that score right back up. And I say those words to say I needed to hear them back myself. But in me hearing them back myself, I also want you to understand that when you fall that one time, when you fall, even those 7 times, when you fall, you get back up. You build yourself back up. You look to God. You look to God. That's it. That's the most important thing. You look to God. You seek Him. Seek Him in all that you do. It may just be taking a test, but seek Him. Go to Him. Pray before you take that test. It may be sending your children off to school. Pray before you send them off to school. We should be praying over our children anyway. But pray before you send them off to school. Pray before they're about to take a test. Pray before you go to a parent-teacher conference. Pray before you do whatever it is that you're doing, even involving school. Pray. Seek God for His guidance. Seek Him in all things. And trust and believe that He's going to lead you and guide you in the right way. But in also seeking Him, you need to also understand you're not going to be perfect. You're going to fall. You're not going to always have it all together. You're not going to always have it all right. And quite frankly, we as parents have a lot on our plates. So us having a lot on our plates, and us, I see a lot of parents going back to school nowadays. So in us going back to school and us already having a lot on our plates, being full-time moms, being full-time employees, most of us working in ministry. In doing all of these things, we also need to understand that God is with us. He's with us. He understands. He hears. He knows. So just seek Him. Trust Him. Believe Him. But I just wanted to give you all that encouragement this morning, because me beating myself up Yeah, I beat myself up in the moment, but I picked myself back up, and I had to seek God in the end of it all. So like I said in the scripture, Proverbs 24:16, the TPT version is the one that stood out to me, but read it in whichever version you choose to read it in. And I would even go as far to say, read the scriptures around it so that you can get a little bit of context about it. But Proverbs 24:16, the lovers of God will fall 7 times. They will fall or stumble 7 times, but they will get back up over and over and over again. But the unrighteous will not get back up. So I just wanted to encourage you to seek God. Seek God in all things. If you have fallen, don't stay in that rut. If you have made a mistake, don't stay in that rut. If you have failed, if you fail one time, don't let that one fail overpower your 5 wins or your 6 wins. That's 7. Don't let that one fail overpower your 6 wins. Look at those 6 wins and say, I made it through this. I got through this. So continue seeking God in all that you do. And I just wanted to give you that little encouragement on this morning. I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful, amazing Wednesday.